So the good news is that payments are now confirmed. There are actually 5 new ways for Americans like yourself to receive extra stimulus money from Congress, all before the end of 2022. So guys, keep in mind that 4 stimulus checks might be approved once President Biden signs this bill into law. So first we'll be talking about the stimulus checks, and then we'll be getting into Social Security benefits and the latest updates around that. Now, many families were relying heavily on the 2021 advanced child tax credit payments, but those came to a pause in December 15th, and what's good is that some stimulus programs remain for Americans that qualify. Some people in certain areas now have an opportunity to cash in on city or even state stimulus checks, on even something even called universal basic income. So many people will qualify for this, and it's worth checking out if you do qualify for universal basic income, which is basically monthly stimulus checks. And now thousands of stimulus checks will land on the doorsteps of qualifying California residents, all starting this week. This begins with the first round of the Golden State stimulus checks, worth up to $1,100 each. The stimulus checks are now meant to provide relief to low-income households and anyone that really needs more money. If you're a low-income household or are in need of a 4th stimulus check and live in the state of California, well, Gavin Newsom approved about $12 billion in crisis relief funds. This is all going to be sent out with the final round of the Golden State stimulus checks. All in all, around $575 million were sent out. Payments began in October and now will continue through January of this year, with the last round of aid being mailed out starting December 27th. So people now have a couple more days to get their stimulus checks via mail. The tax board also said those who receive a paper check should expect for it to take up to 3 weeks once they are sent. Some payments are going to need extra time for processing and accuracy. You must also have $1 to $75,000 of California adjusted gross income in order to qualify for this payment. The income part includes wages and self-employment income, and also interest and dividends and rental income. So you also need to be an eligible California resident and have filed your 2020 taxes by October 15th of 2021. So at least 9 million people are set to receive a state stimulus check before the end of 2021. If you file your tax return after September 1st, then allow up to 45 days after your tax return has been processed in order to get some stimulus money. And also, Californians may get another round of stimulus checks next year thanks to the $31 billion into surplus funds. And everybody, let's not forget about this. Americans in some states could be in line to receive an extra stimulus check worth up to $2,000 if they return to the workforce. The governors of Arizona and states like Kentucky were among the lawmakers to launch initiatives for residents to receive more relief money. For instance, the state of Maine, employees are offered a $1,500 payment if they return to work, similar to a $1,500 stimulus check. Florida will also send about $1,000 to first responders and educators like teachers and principals. In the state of Georgia, teachers and principals are also getting $1,000 stimulus bonuses. So these are all like $1,000 stimulus checks and even $1,500 stimulus checks to odd people that are headed back to work. But individuals in Maryland will also receive $300 and families will get a $500 via the Maryland Relief Act of 2021. And even Maine, and even in the state of Michigan, $1,000 is sent to anyone who's a child care professional who works full-time. More stimulus checks, everybody, have to be approved, and we all know that. So let's see if President Biden does keep his promise this year in 2022 and approves more stimulus payments.
My administration looks like the city it represents. It's diverse and includes individuals who struggled here just like so many of you, often failed by the very system that now oversee. I am one of them. I am one of you. My mother worked as a cook and a house cleaner, barely keeping a roof over our heads and food on the table in South Jamaica, Queens. No matter how hard she worked, I was bused to school because our school was failing. I was ridiculed because I had an undiagnosed learning disability. I was a dishwasher and a clerk, and I went to school at night to get my degree before becoming a cop. I was arrested as a teenager. I was beaten by police, and later today, I will go back to that same precinct house, and I will address the officers there as their mayor. The beginning of my story is like so many others in this city.
It's hard to believe that 2021 is coming to a close. But as we get ready to begin a new year, it's always an exciting time. It's pretty amazing to reflect on all we've accomplished this past year. We have made historic investments into West Virginia's roads, bridges, drinking water, and wastewater. better connected our communities with reliable broadband, made significant investments in West Virginia's education systems, defended the individual liberties West Virginians hold so dear, and put the Mountain State on a trajectory towards future success, and so much more. As we start the next chapter in 2022, it's important that we recommit ourselves to our shared goals.
When we can work and how we can enjoy our city, the crisis wants to tell us how to live. But there's one thing everyone knows about New Yorkers. We don't like anyone telling us what to do. Yet, unemployment remains high, crime is high, COVID cases are high again. So how do we get our city back? My fellow New Yorkers, the answer is simple. We will get our city back by making a commitment to each other right here, right now, beginning today. This will be our New Year's resolution. We will not be controlled by crises. Instead, we'll make this city better every day through actions big and small. Getting vaccinated is not letting the crisis control you. Enjoying a Broadway show, sending your kids to school, going back to the office, these are declarations of confidence that our city is our own. Of course, government must do its job to allow New Yorkers to make these choices safely. And government must do better. Our government has been dysfunctional for far too long, and it created its own crisis long before COVID. Whether it was crime-ridden communities, poor schools, economic inequality, or racial injustice, our problems have been normalized for generations while New York's government struggled to match the energy and innovation of New Yorkers. That changes today. I promise you one thing, New York. I will make our city better every day by making our city government better every day. That does not just mean grand plans and proposals. It means weeding out the waste and eliminating the inefficiencies. It's about accountability. This may seem like an obvious approach, but it is so practical that it has been forgotten. And now is the time to be radically practical, because a better city is not just about doing something new. It's about doing something right. It's not about showmanship. It's about showing up. That is why the theme of my first 100 days is GSD, get stuff done. And I have assembled a government that will solve New York's problems because it understands New Yorkers. My administration looks like the city it represents.